Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Val.
Your boy Z, baby, we back. Another
We
day,
back.
another dollar.
Week 14. It sounds strange saying it, but we are getting into the last quarter.
Oh yeah, we almost halfway through December. Not even 1 week into December.
We 1 week into December, but like again, we're in that last quarter of this great regular season.
Yeah, it's crunch time, baby.
Yeah, it's
It's
been a
like the
wild one.
champions of May. Oh man,
It's been
this
a
whole
wild
league
season.
nuts.
Um,
Keep getting crazier too.
man, this has become, when they do the 30 for 30, right? For
Yeah,
this dynasty or for this Super Bowl, it's gonna be a lot going on in it. A lot of hurdles, adversity. So I guess before we even jump into what happened last week on Thursday, do
nah,
you
bro,
want
we just gonna gloss right over this and act like it ain't happened.
we gonna act like New England ain't happened? All right, cool. I'm with it. We
Come
won.
on, man. Listen, all I need to be said is New England did what New England was gonna do.
Right.
But I was just joking about that. We can talk about it because there are some things I definitely did want to talk about New England, just
Right.
because for the first time in I really say probably a month and a half, the Bills actually put a whole game together
Right.
from a consistency standpoint. Granted, I
Right.
mean
Right. I get
obviously
you.
there's some plays that they would want to have back, but
Right.
it wasn't just a good half or a good quarter. Like they actually came out, put a full 60 minutes together and took care of business.
Yeah, they did. In a kind of methodical way, right? You know what I mean? It was kind of like a little bit like the Cleveland game, but it was more of a better performance all around from defensive standpoint where I
Mm-hmm.
mean Patriots only had 7 points for close to the whole game.
Standard whole game, man.
And they settled for that late field goal. But yeah, I agree. A total team effort that we haven't seen in maybe 5 to 6 weeks. And it's good to see them kind of play the New England game that we've seen in years past, where it's like, let's just make sure we get out of here in one piece. Like,
Yeah, it was different because the Bills was playing a ball control, kill the clock, run game, sprinkling some passes, was going to
right.
dominate you up front, and that was it. I mean, again, the game was one up front. The O line,
Yeah,
they were
O
opening up
line, O
holes
line
all
did the
day.
best they could. I mean, Quesenberry,
Yeah, he was on the struggle boat,
he
but
was
he was
playing.
he was
He was playing
grinding.
with right. He was playing with a bum ankle,
Mm-hmm.
and he fought through it. Um, but our guy James Cook, was able to take advantage of the opportunities of the touches. I mean, we've been talking about that for like what 2 months now. It's like
Yeah,
just take advantage of what they give you. And McDermott is that kind of guy where I kind of hate it, but he kind of the type of person where it's like, listen, I'm gonna give you a chance as a rookie, but you really got to show me something while you're out there on the field, and you got to be consistent on and off the field. Because I'm looking at, and I know we'll get into it eventually, but defensively, I'm looking at, the battle that Kaiir Elam is going through is staying on the
mm-hmm.
field, and that's the part to me that is hard for me because I'm just like, I'm so big on allowing that young man to get his reps and allow him to just make plays. I mean, the guy got 2 picks on the year, which is tied for second on the team. And I'm just like, I know he can make more plays with more reps. We remember the athletic interception he had in the red zone
I
against
thought you were about
Patrick
to say I
Mahomes.
know he can make more plays than Dane Jackson.
Oh,
I
for
thought you were
sure.
about to
Like, don't get me
say.
started. Like when I saw the inactives on last Thursday, I was like,
Well,
Kaiir. I probably let off like 4 tweets after I saw that. And I was just like, you know what, Val, chill out. Let the game happen. But I was upset. I'm like, yo, McDermott, I get whatever y'all trying to do with numbers and all of that. And I get you want to get Rhodes, some snaps or give him a longer look. But that Elam one, and I know we started off talking about Cook,
I
but
mean, listen, bro, they could have put Cam Lewis down. They could
bro,
have put one of
and,
their 13 linebackers down.
yeah, you could even put Jaquan Johnson. Now, I don't care. Like something got to give. Even Dane was, half ill half of the week. Like,
Yeah, if anybody was going to get sat last week, I thought it'd been him because he was dealing with the illness. He
with
practiced, I
the
think,
hey, listen, sit out
once,
a week. We
limited.
good. We got a healthy body here, and I know Elam wasn't probably 100%, but he practiced all week.
Right.
So that definitely annoyed me. And like I said, I understand how McDermott does with some of the young guys, but it's like, dog, you got a first round talent who has shown
Yeah.
the ability. Like you
And that's what kind
showed
of got me because I mean, I feel like his last game he played, which was Detroit, that was probably one of the better games that he had. Great, he didn't walk away with a pick or nothing, but just from a coverage standpoint, he was
yeah,
on the
he was
receivers'
doing his
hips all
job.
day.
He was doing his
From the
job. They was
field.
harassing Dane.
Yeah,
You would have
and if
thought,
any game, I want to see him get some real burn and get his feet wet. It's a game where the receivers aren't overly strong. Like that's a
right,
game I really want to see. Elam get in there and just
right.
really try and dominate, not just
I know.
go out there and play. Like yo, go take advantage. Because again, there's gonna come a point in time he's gonna have to take some meaningful snaps,
Right.
and I just want to make sure he got the snap count to be
Right.
able to do it.
And that's what I really want. Like I said, man, we'll get into this Von thing, in a second, but that's what I really want is if we're gonna make up for not having that closer,
The back end gonna have to make up for it.
we're gonna need our corners and our safeties to make
Mhm.
plays on the ball. And that's why I really need Elam or Rhodes, but I really need Elam out there because I know he can make plays on the ball. Like he's shown us already in limited action. If it's a jump ball situation, I'm feeling pretty confident that he can make a play on the ball. So that was my only little thing I had to say about
Yeah,
that
I'll
part.
say. I mean, I'm on the same boat as you. When push come to shove, by the time you roll around the playoffs, I want 2-7 and I want Elam out there.
Come on,
Those are
man.
two I want. Because again, Dane has been just so up
No.
and down
Yeah,
and
too up and down.
just
I,
not consistent. The ball skills aren't there.
and,
And that's the biggest
and
downfall.
the measurements, and it's okay to admit this, but like
Mhm.
fundamentally, I get it. He can be sound in his technique. He got the experience now. The man has played in playoff games. Probably got over 16 starts under his belt now. But when we remember what happened last year, 13 seconds, when we remember just little things I can think about in my head, and I'm thinking about the potential playoff teams like the Jets, Miami, the Chargers, not so much Baltimore, but
Denver. No, let me stop playing.
yeah. But you even see how your Raiders is going, right? Like the weeks I don't touch the Raiders, now they start winning. That's doodle. I'm gonna leave that alone for a different time though. But even guys like Devontae Adams and like it's just a lot. And I
Yeah.
just need my most athletic corners, my corners who I
Because
know
he's the most athletic player back there in the secondary,
pretty
and I feel
much.
like probably by far.
Right. And Poyer right there too. I know Poyer dealing with a little elbow injury, and we know what Trey brings. But yeah, from a standpoint of just
Pure athleticism and size, like the
mhm,
combination, I feel like he's probably the number one up there.
with the
And
length,
again, with
length,
Dane being he's a 7th round pick or 6th round pick
seventh
for a
round
reason.
pick, 5'10", 5'11" at best. And
I need somebody
I'm
with some
good.
length, some size
I'm good, bro.
to be able to go up there
I'm
and
telling you right
battle.
now, I don't want McDermott to piss me off. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
Just
he'd be
don't.
all right. So just before we get up off New England, what was something that you really liked about the game last Thursday?
It'll probably be the Cook thing. So I said a little bit
Mm.
about that, but also just from the standpoint of being able to control the tempo. I felt like, the Bills, they could have ran it up, but I think that they played tempo offense, almost like a San Antonio Spurs type offense, but in football terms. So, they ran the ball when they needed to. They did the short passes when they needed to, the digs. They were efficient in the red zone, which is good to see. Still a couple questionable passes at times. But nothing crazy from Josh that made me say, "Oh wow." Obviously, he had his one wild play in the red zone where he was out of bounds, basically in the air, makes that throw to Davis. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I would say that was one thing that I definitely like was offensively, just being able to dominate, but not in an overly exciting way, but just in a way where it's like, we got control of this game. Let's do what we got to do to move the chains, get in good field position, and boom. Defensively, again, I like what I saw from a physicality standpoint. So seeing Tremaine Edmonds back in the lineup was great. Seeing Poyer obviously in the back end, it's such a difference having him back there. Seeing Tre'Davious obviously get more reps. Like teams
Yeah,
are gonna
got two
realize
snaps.
they can't throw at Tre'Davious, and that's gonna become evident as we move forward. And I just love that because we got some important games obviously coming up, and just having him back there allows us to take a little bit of a deep breath, because it's like we got 2-7 out there. And then I thought Shaq Lawson played well. Obviously, we'll see what happens with Jordan Phillips and his injury, but I thought Shaq played well. Good to get Group back out there. But definitely shout out to Shaq, shout out to Tremaine Edmonds, and shout out to the defense as a collective, because I felt like as a unit, they really put their stamp on that game, because you could tell Mac Jones was getting frustrated. You know what I mean? You saw him on the sidelines, they was reading his mouth, saying, let's throw the damn ball. Like, all right, man, even if you would have thrown the ball, like you would have had pressure in your face and you probably would have threw a couple picks. So calm down, Mac Jones. You're in a bad offensive situation because you don't really have a great play caller to begin with. And
Not at all.
You don't really have the greatest skill receivers, and you're still going against a top 5 defensive unit. So it was a recipe for disaster, honestly, for the Patriots. And mainly I'm just glad we took care of business. But how you feeling on that?
Yeah, a couple of points that I liked from that last game. Red zone efficiency. I mean, it was nice to see them get the ball down there and punch it in every time in the red zone. So it's good to see. Hopefully they can get a groove, keep that train rolling. I mean, obviously, I mean they had the one turnover with the fumble, but more important,
I forgot about that. Yeah, the strip.
Yeah. I like the non-interception because again, I think Questenberry just got beat clean. It was nothing Josh can do. I mean, that one, tip your hat to the defense. It is what it is. Yep. I'm happy he played in control. He played calm, no picks.
Right.
So that was good to see. I mean, I love what they did in the run game. Being able to consistently just hand the ball off and get chunk plays. I mean, Cook makes 25-yard runs look
easy.
So easy.
Right.
The way he hits those holes and just fly through there, like it's such a difference in speed between him and any other running backs we had in I don't know how long. It's just a different level. Yeah. I mean, even though Hines isn't getting a lot of touches, like I love the way they're using him because I mean I know they're gonna end up playing off all the motions he's doing, all the jet the motions and
it's gonna hit one of the backfield.
Yeah, so I mean, they're definitely gonna have plays just off of that because right now they're not even really calling his number, but they're building up to a lot more with him. So, I mean, I think I like the creativity to see where that's going. Defensive side of the ball, I mean, Edmonds he made an impact early. Like he was flying out there, hit tackles for loss, stuffing the running back. I mean, coming up with hard hits, filling the holes. Like he played a great game. He was thumping. He brought the energy.
I love it.
Again, it's a different defense when they're healthy.
And I got to throw in here too that this is the new AFC East now. Like the AFC East is now a physical division.
Hell yeah.
Like all 4 teams. Like it was about 10, 12 years ago. Like every team is playing physical, and it's good to see that we actually have a front 7 that can match that. Because we'll talk about the Jets in Miami obviously towards in a little bit, but that's going to be very important is a healthy Tremaine, a healthy Milano, a healthy Rousseau, a healthy Tim Settle, a healthy Daquan Jones. I don't know I'm missing somebody, but those guys and their ability to hit and bring that energy, DeMar Hamlin, Jordan Poyer, is going to be so crucial. But I'll let you finish off though.
Yeah, and the last thing I got about that game, I mean, I love any win, but wins against New England, if they feel different, it's just so much more enjoyable. Just looking at the sideline, looking at Bill Belichick, just looking lost and bewildered. Like they still have not figured out how to stop Josh, and they really won this game without even having to lean on Josh.
Right, he didn't have a Superman game. It was just regular.
He didn't need to, but it's just like. They are struggling to come up with a way to stop this team, and it's beautiful to see.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Real quick, I guess we can talk about it just to get it out the way. We obviously heard.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna skip over this for real. Oh man, I don't even want to talk about this.
Yeah,
man.
we'll be real quick though because it's
we gonna be real quick, bro.
It's really gonna be on some obviously next man up type shit.
My ACL gone. Next. Oh, bro, my heart won't allow me to talk about it, man.
It brings me back to Thanksgiving. Obviously, like I said before, I was there, and that feeling that we had waiting for the results. So it's not like this is completely out of left field. This news,
Yeah, it was always on the table still.
But it's a little
It's
trash to have to get it
yeah,
2 weeks later. You know what I
it's
mean? 2
real
weeks
now.
later, especially
Yeah.
after the rumor, or at least even from him. You know,
That
he
shit
was
ain't no rumor that came out of his mouth.
right. He came out and said, "Hey, I tell you, maybe the
So I
Jets
might be
game."
ready for the Jets game.
Right, and then obviously Bean came out the next day and was like, "Yeah, we sitting him out for 4 games and hopefully get him ready." So that had our hopes up a little bit, but anybody who's been around watching sports enough or play sports, that sometimes the more X-rays, the more people you see, sometimes they're gonna find something that's gonna be like, listen, but I know you had your plans on doing this, but this is what we have to do
Yeah,
to save
but for
you.
real, I mean, I'm happy that they went and found it because I mean, it could have been worse if they didn't notice it and they
Yeah,
tried to come
re-injured
back.
something.
And
Right,
then now this ACL about to tear for real. Because again, maybe it was not even a big tear because they never even
right,
said if it was a full tear, or just a little partial tear,
right.
or whatever. But
And who
I'm
knows?
happy
This
that
could
they.
be a 9-month recovery. We hope it don't take 12 months to recover from.
Yeah,
These
because
things
I
are weird.
know. Yeah, I know. Bean said they expect them to be ready to play the majority of the season next year. So
Right.
hope
And,
it's a situation where he's ready training camp
right.
or getting ramped up around that time and maybe
And,
miss a
and
week
you
or
know
two.
what? And that's why it's good to get it out the way now. Because
Yeah,
if you
let's
think
do
about
it.
it, initially they were like, well, he could wait to have the surgery after. And they probably told him, they said, well, if you wait till after the season, let's say you play all the way to February, we have this surgery. This surgery might take you 7, 8 months to recover. So, it was probably a lot of different factors. And like I said, probably finding out more of the damage probably made them lean more towards just getting it out the way. But yeah, if you
Mm-hmm.
expecting anything from 6, 7, 8, 9 months of recovery, hopefully he's back September, October. It's kind of like the Trey White thing. He got injured on Thanksgiving. We're like, oh, hopefully he's back by September. It ended up being November. But you know what? You'll take it, and you hope that his presence and his coaching, right? All the things that he put into those young guys, they take, because I'll say it like I've been saying it for the last couple weeks. These guys are former first round picks. These guys are
All of them.
former second round pick. These guys
Mm-hmm.
were the guys at their college, in their high schools. These were some of the top rated pass rushers from the programs that they came from. And you hope that with their experience over the last 2 to 3 years, and then with the veteran leadership of Shaq, you hope that that collective can come together and really still dominate. Because I still go back to the Baltimore game, and there's a few other games where some of the DNs, not named Von Miller, were able to play at a high level. Shaq Lawson has been, the first one I think of off the top of my head. Greg Rousseau got 6 sacks on the year. So I think they can still do it. It's just that I think they got to remember to have that closer mentality too, where it's
Right.
like, all right, guys, that first quarter sack is nice. But in the fourth quarter, I need y'all to pin y'all ears back and imagine Von, if he's on the sideline or not, imagine him saying, don't blink and just come through, because that's all they've been really missing in the last 2 to 3 years is a D lineman to come through in the fourth quarter and make a play. And that's all Von was brought here for. We talked about it before the season started. We say, yo, Von was brought here to close. Like,
Right.
end of the year, fourth quarter, you need a forced fumble or you need this. That's what Von was brought here for. So I'm looking at young guys like Greg Rousseau. I'm looking at veterans like Shaq. I'm looking at the interior linemen like Daquan Jones and Jordan Phillips when he gets back out there, but Ed Oliver, especially Ed Oliver. So I guess I'll ask you this question and we'll move on. But if there's one or two players you feel like got to step up the most while Von is out, who would you say those one or two players are? Or do you just feel like, kind of like what I said, is just a collective?
I mean, it's gonna have to come from Greg. It's gonna have to come from Ed again because Vine can't be replaced. But
Right,
someone's gonna have to be the alpha. Someone's gonna have to step up and
right,
get this money. And I mean, Greg's been having a great season so far.
right, right.
So Rousseau's gonna have to step up. Ed Oliver's been stepping up, but I think he's gonna have to take it up a notch too. So
Yep.
he's gonna have to be
Top 10 pick.
more disruptive than he's been. And he's had a great season. I think this is his best one so far. But
Right,
I think it's going to come down to the collective naturally, just what the rotation that they do.
right.
But I
Just with the
think those
rotation,
two.
yeah.
But I also think, I think Shaq is going to play a big role because
Yeah, his
if
experience.
if I'm the Bills, I'm probably probably starting him on the other
Oh,
side because
oh, for sure. I'm not even
I
thinking
think
about it.
he's been their most
He's
consistent
been their
DN
second,
outside of
like outside of Greg being, off and on the injury list, but he's been probably their second most consistent defensive end
Mhm. Yeah,
in that rotation. And you
absolutely.
think about what I just talked about 5 minutes ago was stop, being in a physical division. You're going to need a Shaq Lawson. You know what I mean? When the Jets trying to run James Robinson, Carter, and these guys, you're going to need a Shaq Lawson to just make plays in the backfield.
Hmm.
Greg Rousseau. And that's one thing I will say that might be the hidden plus in this is that now I can't see your face. What happened? You want to wait?
Yeah,
Okay.
camera went up.
Okay. The hidden thing that might be a plus in this is that they might get a little bit better against the run. And we'll see what teams decide to do. Maybe teams will pass more because they're like, hey, there's no Vine. Let's get pass happy. But the defensive end starting rotation now with Russo and Shaq, that gives you two bookends right there where you're not going to be able to run on those sides.
Right.
Because those are two good run defenders. And then you factor in obviously Ed and Daquan, Seto, and then like I said, when we get Jordan Phillips back, but I still expect Brewer to be able to hold it down for at least for a couple weeks.
Yeah, but what I'm happy about though, even though Vine is out, and obviously the team is not as good without him. I mean, that goes without saying. But and I'm happy that after the initial surgery and initial recovery, he'll be back in Buffalo. He'll be around the team.
Right.
According to Bean, he's going to be doing his rehab even in the offseason here in Buffalo. So
Love
I
it.
mean, he's going to be around. He's going to be in the meetings. Going to be on the sideline. So his energy is still going to be there. His leadership is still going to be there. So it's just hoping the young guys can step up and take what he's given and
Don't
run with
blink.
it. Exactly.
Don't blink. But now we're gonna move on though. We don't want this to be a somber episode.
Yeah, no, we good. But
Dwelling
before
on.
we
Oh, go ahead.
before we get into Jets, because we'll hop into that in a little bit. I just want to check in and see where you at with this whole OBJ thing. Because
Oh yeah, of
me,
course, of course.
I'm not. I want him signed to the team. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm just over the whole OBJ soap opera. Like this whole tour. I'm just kind of just over the whole coverage of it. Like, it's just like enough, yo. Just pick your team, bro.
Right. Yeah. I'm kind of in the same lane where it's like if it happens, it happens. I'm not gonna be drooling. I'm not gonna be trying to follow him around. Like, oh my gosh, let me order my Odell Beckham jersey now. It's more of I think some of the players have put it in a good way, and that's why I like the culture of this team. For the most part, a lot of these players who said stuff publicly, they're like, hey, listen, if it happens, that's, why wouldn't we want to add talent, right? I think Josh said something similar to that, like adding a piece naturally that's going to help the team. We know he's a great player, great person, et cetera, et cetera. Right, cool. You never can say, oh, no, we don't want another weapon. Yeah, cool. On the other end, it's like, okay, you guys still have some pieces that y'all can still figure out how to use more. Like if you can't get OBJ and he decides to go to Dallas, wherever he decides to go, you still have Dawson Knox, who we've yet to really use this year. We still got Nyheim Hines, who we're still trying to figure out how to use. We still got James Cook, who's continuing to get better every week. Gabe Davis, 6 touchdowns, 4 away from double digits on a quiet year. We got Diggs, obviously. I don't have to say much. Isaiah McKenzie is getting more comfortable in his slot role. So, and we may get Jamison Crowder back in a few weeks. So I'm just looking at their offense as a collective. And I'm not as thirsty as I would say 75% of the fan base, where they're just like, no, this has to happen. Like, please, like tagging OBJ, telling him how great of a town we are, telling him how great of a quarterback that we got. Like that whole drooling over a player thing, like for me, it was cool in the free agency period last March when we were trying to get like Chandler Jones, being all excited about Von Miller, which there wasn't really no recruitment period because we ain't even know. But
that thing was on the low.
Yeah, but I'm all fine for that during the free agency period. But during the season, when you got a guy who is coming off of a serious injury, and we already know all about injuries this year, and that's what got me really kind of cautious, is that we've been dealing with enough injuries. So you want me to drool over a guy who's not even doing full workouts on his visits? He's just doing regular physicals from what they're saying. And we may get him for the playoffs. We may not. This is more about the future, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's different, and I'm not to say again that we don't need to add to our skill positions, because anytime you can add a guy who we even just seen as recent as last Super Bowl who can make a difference, you know what I mean? Who going to turn that down? But everything got to be right though. I will say that, like, the money got to be right. It just got to make sense. I think he still has some juice left in the tank, but injuries are serious, and we've been dealing with enough injuries this year. And if he's not going to be able to contribute, let's say for the next 4 to 5 weeks, I'm good. Like, if he want to wait till we can sign him in March or something, cool. But if he needs some serious money right now and he can't really contribute to like mid-January, I'm good. I like I said, I'm just not as thirsty as some of the fan base is coming off. Like I said, tagging him and just Jane, like, bro, he over 30 coming off a serious injury. If it works out, it works out. But we have guys on this roster who we not even using. That's where I'm still at. Is like, dog, Dawson Knox had 10 touchdowns last year. He has about 2.
Yeah, the reason why I do want him though, because I mean we won injury array and rolling out Gabe Davis and
right as the number 1. I get it.
Who? Because again, I mean, last week
I get it.
I think
John
still
Brown?
we only have 4 active receivers on the 53.
Right. And I didn't mention John Brown, but John Brown too. We'll see with 9-10 days of preparation if he gets involved. But yeah, I mean, it's always good to have insurance. But what does that insurance look like if that insurance can't be used until wild card weekend or divisional round weekend? Like, I don't know. And we don't know what he's really asking for. And that's the thing. It's so many question marks. Like Jerry Jones is trying to obviously throw his little stuff out there, but it's just like no one really knows much. I mean, I remember that yesterday or the day before.
He need to put his foot in his mouth.
Yeah, he did. He made it worse. But
that's like, yo, bro, that's not what you don't put that out there.
But that's Jerry being
that's
Jerry being he want to try to control his own narrative, and that's him trying to jump out. And I don't know if he thought he was trying to control the OBJ market, but I don't know. But either way, I just hope that it all makes sense. If it is to happen, and if we do have to wait a few weeks to see him or blah, 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 like I just want it to all make sense, because like I said, I'm still looking at this offense right now. Like, if you look at the rankings and even an eye test for me, it still says this is an offense that can put up 30 to 35 points with that roster. Now, granted, like you said, they are one injury away from putting out, level, tier 2, tier 3 receivers.
Right.
And you can honestly say that with a decent amount of teams. You can say that with Baltimore. You can say that
majority of teams.
You're right. You take away Justin Jefferson, you take away Tyreek Hill. I know they still got Waddle, but you take away Tyreek Hill, Tua now forced to throw 5-10-yard passes for the rest of the year. So there's a lot to it. I'm just, like I said, I'm still on the fence, but I'm all for adding a playmaker. I'm all for making life for Josh easy. So, like I said, it all depends on what's really at play with Odell, because everything right now just seems like it's just a bunch of reports. It's like what are we dealing with? We don't know. So I guess we just have to wait and see. We'll just be patient. But I mean, I pretty much from what you said, I guess you feel kind of around the same, or what would you say where you stand?
Yeah, I mean, I want him on the team more than I don't. Again, you can never have too many receivers, like ever. Like, I still want to go out and draft a first-round receiver next year. Like, you can never have, like, when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, you can never have too much talent.
Right.
Because, again, like, I miss seeing 4 receiver sets. Like, I would love to see a Odell out there. I can have him, Davis, Diggs, and McKenzie or Shakir or whoever that 4th receiver is. Like, I just want the ability to really put defenders in a bind. Because, again, if I even run the 3 receiver set, I mean, a receiving core with Odell and Davis and Diggs is very formidable.
It's nasty. It's nasty. And that's why
That's a big if.
yeah, if right, like when will we see that? Like that's my thing is like how close are we? Like I need to see video footage. Like I don't need to see it, but I'm just saying like, can I see the man go in and out like of routes? Like, and like I said, it's probably a reason why he's holding back on some of the stuff that he's not doing. But somebody brought up a good point too. They say, yo, with a lot of this stuff, you got to get practice time on the field too. We saw how long it took Trey, to get in game shape. Like you
Right.
just can't go from sitting on the couch going to parties to playing in a playoff game. So it's a lot. And I think the Bills are smart enough to obviously figure out a plan or something if there is a plan for this year. But we gonna see, man. I'm just being patient with it. I'm just not thirsty. If
Right.
it happens, great. If it don't,
Yeah, I just want it to be over one way or the other.
right.
Sign here or sign somewhere else. I'm just kind of over having to talk about it, over seeing it on Twitter, over hearing it on the radio. I just want a decision to be made one way or the other so we can move on.
Please. We got bigger fish to fry, like that number 1 seed.
Exactly.
So speaking of number 1 seed, big game this week, right? Jets week. Shout out to our guy Ev, still working with the Jets. But
big salute to Ev.
yeah. So I guess the biggest thing coming into this week, what are you looking at most as the keys to victory?
You can't let Garrett Wilson destroy your secondary like he did last time. And you can't let Michael Carter or whoever's going to be running the ball run 6.5 yards a carry. I mean, that's what it pretty much boiled down to.
Right.
Don't let them run all over the place and allow Mike White to
be Mike White.
Have to make plays. Like, again, I mean, he's fine as a quarterback when he drop back and get the ball out quick, but take away that first read and see what happens.
A little pump fake. Running out. Oh, here come Greg Rousseau. Bang.
So, again, I mean, beat a dominant team you're supposed to be in this case. Again, they did beat you fair and square. Right. But I mean, they got them at 9.5 point.
9.5, yeah. Because you home now.
Go beat the team you're supposed to beat. I mean, Jets are a team, but you still got to take advantage of it. You're a better team.
Listen, man.
There was no Milano. There was no Poyer. I mean, we were down a lot of players last
Rousseau
time.
Was hurt by the first. I think Rousseau got hurt that game in the first half.
Yeah, so, I mean, we were down a lot of players. So, a lot more healthy than we were last year, last time, especially if Dawkins can come back.
Right, and obviously, too, no Tre'Davious in that first round.
Yeah, but the biggest factor more than anything is how this O-line holds up against the Jets D-line, because they dominated up front last game.
They did, and I think it kind of forced Josh to move out the pocket probably more than he wanted to, and that's not to say Josh can't play outside the pocket, but I think Josh is best when he can at least start in the pocket,
if I can at least get a second to drop back before I have to run.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so you're right. The offensive line has to play better this week.
Has to. It's a gut check. Because, again, I mean, Jets got a good defense all over the place, but their D-line is their bread and butter, in my opinion, at least.
Yep.
So, I mean,
and all the boys, Quentin Williams.
If you need to move the pocket, you need to roll Josh out, do it. Like, do what you need to do to make sure that you can keep him upright, keep him clean, get the ball to their playmakers' hands.
Yeah,
dump off to the running backs. Because, again, I mean, their corner's been getting away with a shit ton of holds. So, I mean, if they not gonna get caught,
that's all they do is hold.
Then let them.
Listen, I was watching that Minnesota game, and I'm just like, yo,
they were getting away with murder, even though they still got some calls against them. Like, yo, they just grab it. They get a lot of leeway.
And I know that's going to be an emphasis that they're going to look at on film, because Diggs is the type of guy that you damn near got to hold. So hopefully they can get a couple instances where Diggs get away from some of them and they get a couple of them pass interference calls down the field. Because I know they still going to use their bread and butter, which is some routes to Diggs. But I still, want to see Davis continue to grow in his role. Like I said, until Odell is signed on this team, you still need to grow into that number 2 role. Like, you need to make yourself a viable number 2 option. And like I said, the numbers going to suggest at the end of the year that he had a pretty decent year. He'll likely get 9 to 1,000 yards, He gonna likely get 9 or 10 touchdowns. But for us, and I'm speaking for myself, but really, I think we just want to see it week in and week out. Whether it's 5 catches or if it's just a touchdown a week, like just be
Yeah, like
available.
Kane had a 3 for 20.
We can't do that. We can't do that.
That's what got to go. Because
not when your
it's
quarterback
boom
is
or
Josh
bust.
Allen.
I mean, he's like, I'm not saying he's the same type of receiver, but it's like Mike Williams. Yeah. It's either you get 5 catches for 120 yards, 2 tutties, or you got 4 catches for 31 yards.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Boom or bust. It got to be more consistent with his hands, consistent with his route running.
And especially when the receiver opposite of you is Stephon Diggs. Like, it'd be one thing if we were like, damn, Diggs is out, Davis is struggling to be the number 1, which would be expected, but you're getting number 2 looks. So 9 times out of 10, even if you are seeing the best corner because they're doubling Diggs, you need to find a way to win your matchup because everybody ain't playing you man-to-man. Or if they playing you man-to-man, then that mean that your route running need to sharpen up or something. Like, you need to work on getting your separation, which I've heard some people say he's still trying to struggle through the ankle, which who knows? I don't know. I just know a couple weeks he looks great and some weeks he doesn't. So I'm just like, is it really the ankle? If one week I can see him run past somebody and then the next week it looks like he can't run past nobody. So I don't know what it really is, but I think that the biggest thing for him is that he needs to consistently work on creating that space and catching the ball and making those plays that are out there because more and more teams are probably looking at the table and they saying, dog, if we can stop Diggs, we can stop this offense.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure after the game, Patrick Peterson said, Gabe Davis only run a couple routes.
Right.
Something like that. Not that hard to cover. We only got a handful of routes you running. So, you got to diversify your route tree, fam.
Man, listen, do something. But did you have any other keys in regards to that?
It's up front. I think that's what for me. That's what a game is. Game is won and lost for this week. With a D line and defense as good as the Jets bring him, you got to find a way to neutralize that pass rush. Find a way to drop back and dump it off to those running backs. Find a way to hit a screen, hit a draw, hit a handful of draws. Yeah.
Execute one for once.
Bro, we ain't had a good screen game in about 20 years, I feel like.
Listen, probably since Fred Jackson and CJ Spiller.
Yeah, it's been a long
time.
Chan
Gailey was the only one who knew how to put that in play. Like,
yeah, man, his screen game was strong.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you could mix in an offensive mind like Chan Gailey into what we got, it'd be great because he found ways to get Stevie over 1,000, CJ over 1,000, Freddie to be one of the most productive running backs in that.
Bro, can you imagine how much Stevie would be eating with this offense?
Oh yeah,
or with this quarterback.
With this quarterback, stupid.
His numbers will be ridiculous.
Easy 1,300 yards, 80 catches, 90 catches, something stupid.
As unorthodox as he is, and how good Josh is at improvising
with Diggs, man, stop it. But nah, and like I said, I'm with you when it starts up front, but I really say the biggest thing that I'm looking for is a bounce back game from Josh, and not from last week, but from the last time they played the Jets. So I'm looking for Josh to say, okay, last time I gave y'all the ball, I handed y'all 2 interceptions. So I'm looking at the Bills winning the turnover battle. And then also just being the more physical team. Because I think if they can do those 2 things, win the turnover battle and be more physical, kind of what you said up front, but just all around. Just be the team to go out there on Sunday and be the first to hit the other one in the mouth. Because if you set that tone early, whether it's Tremaine Edmonds, Matt Milano, and I know he didn't practice. Hopefully he'll practice later this week. But whoever it is, it can be Greg Rousseau with the first big hit of the game. Set the tempo early because the crowd is going to follow. It's supposed to be a 39, 40-degree day, maybe a chance of rain, whatever. I don't know. But guess what? That means physical football is on the table. And if they can set that tone early, you playing a guy like Mike White, who still has less than 10 starts under his name. So putting him in this atmosphere in December against a top 5 defensive unit, a hungry team that's still looking to really clinch the division and really try to get that 1 seed, I expect them to set the tempo early. And I think the key is going to be obviously, again, being physical. And then, like I said, taking care of the ball, but just a little bit of MVP Josh too. Like I want to see them control the pace and the tempo, kind of like the New England game. But I also want to see Josh make a couple of MVP throws or just a couple of MVP plays where I'm just like, let him know. And I know he probably got that in the back of his head that he know he gave him the ball away the last time they saw him last month. And I'm pretty sure he was like, you know what? Next time I see y'all, I know I was up
That's something
14.
to go.
Yeah, I was up 14-3, and I let y'all kind of, crawl back in it, with some turnovers. But I think that Josh Diggs and that offense is gonna feel a way about letting them off the hook the last time. Because I mean, 17 points ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah,
And
I mean, and they know what happened last game. They don't forget about that.
right, 17 points ain't gonna cut it. So I look for the offense to not only control the tempo, but also be a little dominant. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this is a very good defense, though. Like, this is a top 10 unit. So this ain't gonna be no easy 35, 40. You know what I
I don't
mean? They
think
ain't even,
so.
they
I
ain't even
mean, they
gonna be
got
in my
the
but
Jets have a very, very good defense. Like it's nothing,
right.
ain't no slouching here from
Ain't no
top to
slouches.
bottom. They got players.
Right. But I think when they played them last time, that was the beginning of James Cook getting in the rhythm. And so I would say one of the keys too, from an offensive standpoint, is continuing to ride uh the wave with the running backs, to complement the passing game. So James Cook, Singletary, Hines, and just finding different and creative ways to get them the ball, not just
Yeah,
all right
I want
here.
to see a lot of I want to see a lot of passes at running backs this week. Loosen up that defense in the back end. Loosen up the defense in the
Right.
middle of that field. Because
Just get
again,
creative.
yeah, this rush it's going to be coming. So if I can get a quick dump off or quick little angle route,
Right,
it's a
right,
quick way to get the ball in the running back's hand. Because again, at the end of the day, a quick pass for a running back, that's a run.
right. And just to get the safeties and stuff to creep up too. Like I don't want them to be able to sit back and just play the pass all day because that's
Right.
that's making it too easy for the Jets. Like we need to get them to come up, respect the run at least, respect the running back threat, so that your tight ends can eat, so that um, you know, Diggs can do what he do one on one, or
Yeah,
Dave.
because we can't let that D line to spin their ears back and rush all day.
No, you can't, because that's when they're at their best. I mean, kind of like our defense, like
Yeah, that's
when
what you asking for trouble when you're doing that. So they gotta be able to mix it up and that threat of the run needs to be there.
right, right, and I think they will. I think they're starting to learn. I think the last three weeks that they need to be a little bit more balanced, just to give Josh that extra help. Like, don't not making Josh feel like, hey, I got to be Superman and throw the ball 50 times and try to throw it in the end zone every time I get past midfield. So, yeah, that's really my keys. So do you have anything that you may be nervous about going into this game, or are you feeling pretty confident that they can just play their game and kind of get out of there?
I feel confident. Like I with them getting back in the first in the conference, I mean, they know it. They know they got to take care of business. They already lost to this team. Their antenna's gonna be up.
Right.
I don't think this is a team that they're gonna come and take it lightly. Like, shit, they already
Hell
lost to them.
no. Nah, you
So
lost.
they gonna come in focus. They're gonna come get a good week of preparation.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I still, as a whole, think they're a better team. They got a way better quarterback. So, I'm a 9 times out of 10, I always gonna roll with the team with the better quarterback.
Listen.
So, I mean, I'm not really worried about this one. I don't expect a blowout, but I also don't expect it to be. I don't expect a nail biter like the last game either.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. And that's why I was about to get into quick prediction too. But yeah, I'm not expecting a nail biter. I think that since it was just about less than 5 weeks ago, they gonna remember how they felt walking off that stadium, leaving points on the board, allowing Zach Wilson of all quarterbacks to beat them, and get down the field, allowing that running game to just run on them in that fourth quarter. So I think they'll be coming in fired up, and obviously with the whole Vine news too, trying to play for Vine, trying to stay on that edge because they also know too, the whole control their destiny thing. It's all in front of them. And they're only going to take it a week at a time, but if they take care of their matchups each week, these AFC opponents, these divisional opponents, they know that almighty 1 seed is still in play. Because I still say on the other end in the AFC West, things can still get freaky. We've seen stuff happen around the league where upset here, upset there. You know, the Raiders they got to play the Chiefs one more time. Broncos, even though I hate the way they're playing defensively, you know, they can make it difficult for the Chiefs. It'll just be a matter of Nate Hackett. I don't know. I just hate that Denver is messing up my whole. They messing up my whole picture with the AFC West because I really was like, ooh, dogfight. Ooh, they're gonna be ripping each other apart.
Oh, bro, before the season started, you saw how much I was bringing up Denver. So like they got me looking bad. So
and then I had Chargers winning the division, and they out there losing to the Raiders. So like it's just that division is just
it's not nearly as good as anybody thought.
I get upset thinking about it, but I will say that this is the point in the year where a lot of that stuff can come into play because even if only 2 of those teams make it, they can still beat each other up in December, and I'll be happy. You know what I mean? Like, hey, y'all might have been a disappointment all year, but if y'all can do me a favor and surprise Kansas City 1 week, I'm good. Like,
yeah, because you know what? Because I mean, at the end of the day, I just give me the 1 seed. Because again, if I'm the 1 seed, it's a high likelihood that whoever gets through that wild card round, Kansas City going to end up having to play Miami or end up having to play Cincinnati. Somebody will knock each other out.
Right. It's going to be tough, man.
Let me just sit back and watch and.
Yeah, let us get a week off. Like, I feel like Bills fans deserve that at least. And that's why the whole 1 seed, whatever. No, we deserve a 1 seed.
Bro, I want more than anything. I want that extra rest for this team.
Right. For all of the players. And obviously, too, as a football fan, it's like last few years, we ain't, wild card weekend.
Bro, a stress-free playoff weekend.
Right.
You know what that would feel like? I can just sit back and watch football and
for once. So we'll see what happens. I'm crossing my fingers that the Bills obviously continue to be as healthy as they can with the players that they got, and then we fight through it. But I'm gonna get right to it to you with your prediction for this game. So I mean, what do you have? Do you want to start with a stat prediction, or you would just want to go straight with the score?
I'll start with another stat prediction. I got Diggs going over 115.
Okay.
And at least 1 touchdown.
On Sauce head?
On Sauce. I mean, I don't know if it's going to all be on Sauce.
Yeah,
I mean, depends how they want to run a whole defense, but I think this is a game that Diggs going to be up for.
For sure.
I think this is another game where I see 100+ yards from Cooks, all purpose.
All purpose.
I'm rolling with that back-to-back week. That was my prediction last week.
I give you that. I give you that.
So I'm rolling with that one again. I think it's another 100+ yard, all-purpose yard day for young James.
Okay.
And from a score prediction, I'm thinking Bills dub. Thinking 27-16.
Okay, that's a nice one.
I got a feeling. I mean, I haven't seen Robert Saleh be an aggressive head coach as of yet, so I see him kicking stupid field goals.
Right.
That really gonna help him win.
I'm with you on that.
I think it's gonna be a bunch of field goals and a touchdown.
Okay, I'm with you. So for me, I think I'll go score first. I'll go 31-18. So I'll say 13-point win. I'm with you kind of with the whole field goal thing. I think that, in the second half, they'll probably try to press to get in the end zone, but I think the defense will try to hold up and do what they got to do and kind of, again, make them, probably try to consider, getting in the end zone, but may have to settle for, a touchdown. I mean, probably have to settle for a field goal for most of the game. So I go at 18, right at the edge of 20, because they do got enough skill players where they can make you, play the field. But I still believe, you said this earlier, that if you take away Mike White first read, you're going to put him in some tough situations where he's going to have to really, make a play. And that's really not his MO. He's not a playmaking quarterback. He's more of a, if it's there, he's going to get it there. He's going to throw a nice ball.
Assistant quarterback. It was
pretty
a
much.
great value, Jimmy G.
Right. So I'll give it a 31-18 Bills victory. I think we scored late in the fourth quarter to just put it away. I do think it may be close in the first half, maybe closer than what some people like. Just because I think that both teams will probably start off physical. I mean, because we got to remember Jets came off of a loss too. So I
Right.
think that the energy will be high in the first half, but I think that coming out of halftime, we'll see the Bills, pretty much make up their mind and say, listen, let's get up out of here. Let's be efficient, but let's put this game away. So 31-18. As far as predictions, I'm gonna go with a bold one first. I'm gonna say a Greg Rousseau interception.
Oh,
Yeah,
Fruit with the pick.
I'm gonna go bold first. Greg Rousseau interception, and then I'm gonna go Dawson Knox and Gabe Davis touchdowns.
Dawson Knox and Gabe Davis.
I'll
Okay.
say I'll say Dawson and Gabe. Now, obviously, I think Stephon will be the focal point through most of the game. They'll try to get him the balls that they can, but I think that Josh should be smart enough to know, like, hey, I'm not gonna go extra hard to force it. So whoever's open, you're gonna get this rock. And I feel like it's gonna be opportunities for Knox and Davis to make plays. They just gotta catch the ball. They just gotta get open, make themselves available. And that's why I'm going with Knox and Davis in the end zone. And like I said, Greg Rousseau gets a pick. I want to be bold and say pick six, but I'll keep it at a pick. And because I really think Greg Rousseau, this is his time to make his presence really felt. He's such a big guy over there at 6'6", 260. And I just feel like if he plays to his potential, teams are going to have a hard time dealing with him. And obviously we know we got Ed Oliver in the middle doing what he does. So I'm looking for that from Greg. And like I said, 31-18. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. So we got a few more minutes. So I want to say I looked a little bit, but I'm gonna allow you to get a chance to look at the week 14 schedule. Speaking of week 14, week 13 went great for us as Bills
It
fans.
went it literally as good of a week as we could have hoped. Like literally anything we would have wanted happened last week, which was crazy. Like I was watching, just going back and forth between the Kansas City Cincy game and the
Right.
Miami 49ers. I'm like, this is really falling in place.
This is really falling in place. Man, listen, we were saying the same thing, just looking. I think we was using not Red Zone, but the other joint. And we was just like, wow, this okay. And so shout out to Cincinnati, shout out to San Fran, shout out to Minnesota. Like all three of those teams made a Sunday off for us that much better. Especially with us taking care of business on Thursday. Like it'd be different if the Bills lost on Thursday and we just sit there hoping and praying like, oh, we need these teams to lose too. But the fact that we won and then those teams lost made all of that just so much sweeter. But I'll go into some of my predictions this week. I'll go bold for 2 games, and then I'll just say one lock. So my one bold prediction is going to be Giants at home against Eagles. I'm gonna pick the Giants on that one.
Ooh, okay.
I think the Giants have a chance to, and it's a 1 o'clock game too, so that's gonna be tricky because I'm gonna be at the Bills game. You going to the game or you staying home?
Oh, negative, bro.
Negative. Okay,
Them-
niggas get boozy now.
Oh, it ain't been bougie. Listen,
Mm.
them December home games for me is a
Is a
it's
Zubbington your
headed.
brother going?
Nope.
He not even going to. Okay, so yeah, okay.
The
I see
rest
how
of the
y'all
squad
do.
going, not me.
I feel you. Now you gotta do what you gotta do though. But
And that high 30s and rain, nah,
yeah,
that ain't me. I ain't
no, I
about
feel
that.
you. It ain't gonna be beautiful out there. But yeah, I'm going with that. I'm going with, and I don't even know if that's a bold prediction, but I'm just saying, like, I got the
I mean,
Giants.
I would say so. I mean, Philly got one loss.
Right,
Giants, I mean, scraping and clawing for wins,
right.
but I think
So
that's
I'm gonna
pretty
go
bold.
Giants over them, and I got Jaguars at Tennessee. I got the Jaguars beating Tennessee
Okay.
as my other upset.
Okay.
Um, the lock of the week is almost too easy, but I'm gonna go ahead and just say it anyway. I think nah, that's too easy. I was gonna say Seahawks over Panthers, but that's just too easy. Um,
That's why it's a lock of the week, baby.
yeah, right. So, hmm. Wow, this is tougher than I thought. You know what? I might just do three bowls this week. No locks. So three
Okay.
bowl predictions. My third bowl prediction is Denver over Kansas City. What's up? Bowl. They call it bowl for a reason.
My man said, let's ride.
That's hey, Broncos country. That's right.
Broncos country. Let's
Yeah.
ride.
So that's my three right there. I mean, at least from an
Oh,
interesting standpoint, like I will be kind of keeping my eye on those games for the most part. Like I know I'll probably be a little tipsy or whatever by that time of the day, but I'm gonna keep my eye on those games. And I think that there's potential there. Like I said, Denver pisses me off,
oh, he
but,
will.
but defensively, there's still a top 5, top 10 unit. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they match up with Kelsey and those guys. I feel like PS2 Patrick Surtain is a great young cornerback. They still got a good front seven up there, good safety back there, great safety back there. So it's gonna be interesting, but I'll go with that bowl one. Denver's at home too, so it's like if they want to steal one, this would be the one to steal if you're Denver. And I know they're pretty much out the race, but I
Oh, yeah.
mean,
They long gone.
it's still at any given Sunday league. So those are my bowl ones. But what you got?
All right. So my bold prediction, I think this team is prime for a little bit of a letdown. Coming off a big win last week. I don't know, man. Some tell me Cincinnati going down to the Browns.
With D Watson?
Yeah, again, that Browns, they offense did next to nothing last week. But
Right.
again, another week of practice trying to get loose. Bengals with a hard fought emotional win, coming home against the lowly Browns.
Yeah,
So I
Browns
think
might
that's
get
a
up for that
dangerous
one.
game.
Pause.
Yeah, that's a dangerous game for them.
Yeah.
So that's my upset of the week. I got a couple lots of the week. And I'm going one, my lock of the week is Bills over Jets. That's one of my locks.
We'll take it.
Other lock, and I feel like it's kind of crazy, but I'm going Ravens over the Steelers. And
Ravens over Steelers. Okay.
that's without Lamar. With or
Right.
without Lamar.
But they backup is pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean it's a game that Ravens they have to win. With Cincinnati making a charge that they have to win. Backup or not. They're still a better team than Pittsburgh. So I expect them to come out, punch Pittsburgh in the mouth, walk out with an ugly win. My other lock of the week is, which I also feel might be kind of crazy, but not at the same time, 49ers over the Bucks.
Okay.
Even without Jimmy G, 49ers got a good ass team.
Yeah, great defense.
I mean, Brady, they had a nice little win last week. They still just look off.
Right. They do.
It's just not. It's not clicking. It's not running seamless. They had a nice win. They looked a little better than they have been, but some still off. So I'm going 49ers over the Bucks as a lock. Bills over Jets as a lock.
Okay.
Ravens over Pittsburgh as a lock. Upset special. Browns over Bengals.
I like it. Nah, that's three good selections, man. I wish I would have got my locks together, but like I said, some of them games, like I said, the Seattle one would probably be an easy lock. Like I guess I could throw that in there as a lock, but I'm just like that game won't even be like worth watching. Like Carolina, unfortunately, and it's crazy because they're still in the thick of things because of the way that their division is. Like 4-8 is still good enough to for them to stroll in 8-9 or whatever. I think
could go Cowboys over Texans as a
right. That's what I'm saying. Like the two locks would have been boring.
Easy.
Like yeah, so it should still like this week is not going to be as entertaining as last week. I think last week probably had the best matchups of the whole regular season.
I think I say it probably a bit just because it was more games that was important to the Bills. So, I mean,
That
we were
too.
more geared up for those
That
too.
I mean, that was a bit of it, and I also
But
just
they
think
were good matchups though across the
right.
board.
It was teams over 500 battling, so it's just like you know what I mean.
Right.
Like I said, Minnesota and Jets not in the same division, but it went down to the wire because those are
Yeah,
two
two
teams
good.
over 500.
I say two good teams, but I still don't think my Minnesota's a good team. But
I think they're good enough. I think that they've been obviously lucky in some games, but I think that the foundation that they have is good enough to win them at least one playoff game. Like they almost remind me of the Minnesota Vikings that won with Diggs and Keenum, where it's like, Keenum ain't gonna get you to the Super Bowl, but and the same thing with Kirk. Kirk not gonna necessarily get you to the Super Bowl, but he got a top 2 receiver, he got a top 5 running back.
I don't know, bro. I feel like listen, not if. I mean, Minnesota's they're gonna clinch their division
Right, they're
soon.
gonna clinch their division like
But
tomorrow.
I don't think they win the playoff games. If they mess around and run up against Dallas or San
Well,
Francisco or
right.
Seattle week
Well,
one,
here's the thing.
I'm not
As
picking
a
Minnesota.
as a division leader, they'll most likely have to face a wild card team that will either look like the Giants, Redskins, or possibly
I
they'll get
mean,
they'll get a matchup against a team. I'm trying to
Dallas
think.
gonna be a wild card team. I don't think they
Think
catch
so?
from Philly.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
I mean, San
So
Francisco
so
might end up
so
being a
so
wild
if
card team.
right. So if you're San Francisco, who's in a they got play Seattle. Oh, they in this division with
Because
Seattle.
Seattle's still right there, and I don't know if they're
Right.
gonna lose
Okay.
with
Yeah.
Jimmy
I mean,
G.
I get that, but I just think Minnesota is at least this year good enough to win at least one. Like I said, I'm not sold on them being, no damn, top 5 overall team, but I think that they do just enough to stick around games and like those lucky bounces, interceptions, whatever you want to call them. That happens when you can stick around in the game, and that's one
They're
thing I
always gonna be there though. Like their method, in my opinion, is just not sustainable. Like their record in one score games is, I mean, ridiculous this year. And I
it's
mean,
crazy.
and
It's crazy.
over years, I mean, it shows that eventually
Oh
that
yeah, eventually
go
it'll
back to
even out. But
it
like I
go back
said,
to the
I'm gonna give
norm.
credit. I'm gonna just give credit to not being a team that gets blown out. Like I always say this, like those things can flip flop for sure. Like one score games can go either way eventually. But kind of like the Bills have shown over the last 2 years, when it's hard to blow out a team, that's a any given Sunday team where
Mhm.
you gotta give them the benefit of the doubt of, well, if they lose one, it's gonna be close, but if they win, they're gonna win and whatever. But like, and the Minnesota not gonna blow nobody out. So I will say that's the difference between them and the Bills. Is like they don't have the type of team that you can sit back every week and say, all right, they're gonna win by double digits. Like they either got to squeak one out or you can catch them. But anyway, off of Minnesota, any last thoughts as we move into this next week? Like I said, I know we got a weird schedule coming up with some of the schedule changes with Miami
Yeah,
moving forward.
a lot of Saturday games.
We got a couple Saturday games back to back. We won't look too far down the line, but any last minute thoughts as we go into this Jets week game?
Just hold serve. That's it. You got the 1 seed right now. Don't let it go. Just 1 week at a time. Just keep stacking these dubs.
All
Because
right,
I
well,
mean, they're going to be favored in every game.
pretty
Maybe
much.
except Cincinnati. I mean, that's the only one that's
Yeah, Cincinnati probably is going to be
probably not.
toss
But
up.
I mean, that's going to be an
Toss up.
extremely light favorite. I mean, point and a
Toss up.
half, 2 points.
Monday
So,
Night Football. I can't wait. I got my popcorn ready for that.
so that's going to be. So this whole serve, take care of business. That's it.
Right. I'm with
Win
you.
the
Well,
game you're
listen.
supposed to win.
Well, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all like we've been saying every week, man. If y'all going to the game, bundle up, right? If y'all are watching from home, make noise on the couch, enjoy it, sit back, relax. I mean, this is the best part of the year. We getting ready for the playoffs. And it's a new tradition now, A few years ago, it wasn't like this. So this is something to enjoy each and every day. And as we get into the holiday season too, I want to say, I don't think I said it last week. I might have said it. Hopefully everybody enjoyed their Thanksgiving. Getting ready for Christmas. Hopefully y'all remembering the reason why we celebrate these holidays and cherishing y'all family members. So shout out to all of those who are celebrating their
Absolutely.
first Christmas with their child. celebrating their first Christmas with a loved one. You know, and prayers to those who have lost people in between now and last Christmas. I know I lost my grandmother this year. So shout out to, not really shout out, but prayers to those who are going to be missing people during this holiday season. I just wanted to say that because like time is moving so quickly, we don't get a chance to talk about this stuff, but we praying for all of you guys out there. Obviously, we want y'all to continue to enjoy this season, you know, football season, basketball, the holidays, all of that is great. But just be thankful. Just be thankful for those who you have in your life. That's all I'm gonna say. But Z, any last second stuff you want to say?
No, man, you said it. Well said. Well, we just appreciate y'all coming out, kicking it with us for another week. As always, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, leave a comment, leave some feedback. You know, we just appreciate y'all rocking with us for another week.
Yeah, and check out both our pages. We on Instagram, Twitter. We try to put all of our information up, but you know, we'll try to be more consistent with sharing all of our different pages with the links and things like that, so more people can get to our different networks. Again, if y'all want to join us one week, I know we had our friend on last week. Holler at one of us in the DMs. I know sometimes we get caught up in the busyness and the stuff that we be doing that we can't necessarily speak to as many people as we want to, but holla at us. If you got topics y'all want us to touch on, if y'all want to join us one week, feel free. But y'all listen, this has been great. Jets week is here, another divisional game. So hopefully y'all enjoy this week. Take everything a day at a time. Be great. Love on your loved ones. But y'all, this is Val.
And your boy Cyrus McCormick, full government today, baby.
Full GOV. But listen, y'all, we out. We enjoy chopping it up as always. But y'all be easy and be safe. Peace out.
Next week, love y'all.
Yes, sir.